Cooking outside is awesome, but there are so many ways to screw it up if you're not careful. I'm going to build a brand new outdoor kitchen from scratch and share some very common mistakes I see people making out there. I almost fell victim to a couple of them, and there is one mistake that you absolutely cannot make. This video is sponsored by AG1. I'm currently in the middle of completely transforming my backyard, starting with this amazing pool and this crazy shop you see behind me, which I've got an entire playlist on if you want to go check it out. But now that the pool is done, I need a place to grill my meats, so let's get into it. And luckily I was thinking ahead because I made sure to put this covered porch on the end of the shop that extends about 8 feet out. And as you can see, I've already poured a small foundation for where the kitchen's gonna go while we were doing the hardscaping around the pool. Ideally, you wanna be building on top of something solid like concrete instead of on top of pavers like this. I also went ahead and made sure that all of my utilities were ready to go, including a dedicated electric circuit, gas line, water, various conduit to different parts around the building, and even a drain for a sink. And we're gonna get to all that, but if you look up, the ceiling needs a little bit of love, so let's tackle that first. I'll be honest, I've been putting off doing the ceiling for far too long. So when this pallet of material arrived, I knew I just needed to rip off the band-aid and get it done. And one of the biggest reasons I've been putting it off is the thought of applying finish to an outdoor ceiling sounded about as fun as hand digging a ditch. So in my attempt to avoid that at all costs, I found this stuff online. It's pre-finished, thermally modified ash that will be perfect for a covered outdoor area like mine. And of course, the best part is that I don't have to stain a damn thing. It should also be a breeze to put up with its tongue and groove profiles. But one of the coolest features just might be the end matching, which means I don't need to perfectly line up on the ceiling truss between boards. This makes install a little faster, cuts down on waste, plus gives a more natural look to the seams when we're done. As I made my way to the center peak of this porch ceiling, I knew I needed to get a little creative with how I finished it. So after playing with some angles on the table saw, I landed on this profile to perfectly cap things off. Boy, someone really needs to look into improving dust collection on woodworking tools, especially the miter saw. They sure do get messy. If your saw looks like this, go check out our website, shopnationstore.com. Turns out we have solutions for all the most popular saws, including this one now. Okay, that is so much better. Now we can get to the outdoor kitchen itself. When I was coming up with a design for this, I had a couple of renderings done, and as you can tell, I'm going for a basic L shape with kind of this bar extension off of one side. And these renderings are pretty basic. They don't quite have everything in place that I plan to put, but it just gives me a general idea of what it's gonna look like. And this actually is the first mistake that I almost made that I see a lot of other people out there making, and that is to try to jam too much into an outdoor kitchen. And I know that might sound counterintuitive, especially if you have a lot of space like I do. What you want to do instead is really think about how you plan on using the space. Most outdoor kitchens revolve around one appliance like a gas grill, a smoker, or something like that. And the chances of you actually using all that other stuff are pretty low. So starting with that realistic picture is going to, one, save your budget because the stuff you put in an outdoor kitchen is not cheap. And number two, it's going to help you avoid one of the biggest mistakes that people make with outdoor kitchens, which we'll talk about later in the video. Now, the second biggest mistake I see people making when building an outdoor kitchen is rustling over the building materials themselves. On one side, you have people slapping some 2x4s together, and on the other, they are clutching their pearls in disbelief that anyone would be so careless around hot, fire-breathing cookware. They think the only way to do it would be to use non-flammable materials like steel, aluminum, or masonry. And the thing is, they're both not wrong, but you have to take the right precautions. I'm going to be framing my outdoor kitchen using pressure-treated lumber and outdoor-rated screws, but I'm also going to use an insulated metal jacket between my heat-producing appliances like my grill and the combustible framing. You can absolutely use combustible materials as long as you follow the manufacturer's recommendations. So if you find yourself caught in a thought spiral about building materials and wondering how in the heck you're going to fabricate an aluminum frame yourself, rest assured knowing you at least have options. Along the lines of planning, one massively helpful resource are these layout sheets for the items you want to install in your outdoor kitchen. They give you actual dimensions, along with the cutout or rough-in dimensions so you can size your framing correctly. Whoever you buy your outdoor kitchen items from should have these available. As the build-out starts to come together, let's talk about mistake number 3, and that is not including enough access points to your outdoor kitchen. By access point, I mean places you can physically get into things in case something needs to be fixed, replaced, or even modified later down the road. Once everything is installed and all the faces are closed up, it's going to get cramped in there real quick. An obvious access point will be right here below the sink, which will have a door in this spot. But remember not to go overboard with access doors either. If you're not careful, the face of your new outdoor kitchen will just look like a bunch of stainless doors, which isn't exactly ideal. So just make sure you're leaving yourself access to critical areas. One such area might be like a valve to turn off a water source to winterize your outdoor kitchen. Another could be the sink. For areas where you think you might need access on rare occasions, you can actually utilize other features in your outdoor kitchen. For example, if you're installing a pull-out trash can or drawers, it wouldn't be very hard to remove the drawer or the trash can and use that feature as an access point. It's almost double duty at that point. And that leads right into mistake number 4 I see people making in laying out their outdoor kitchens, and that is forgetting about storage. Usually we prioritize in this order: cooking appliances, refrigeration, access doors, and finally storage. But storage is one of those things that can make a big impact on how you use your outdoor kitchen later. Think about it. If you're able to store things outside like tongs, spatulas, or wood pellets for your smoker, you don't need to then carry it out there to start cooking. Remembering to add storage to your outdoor kitchen is a critical way to lower friction during use. And the lower the friction, the more likely and often you'll want to use it. I'm opting to go with a small bank of drawers under the flat top grill, a large drawer under the smoker, and a pull-out trash can. I know a trash can isn't the first thing that comes to mind when you think of storage, but what else would you call it? It stores garbage. And in the interest of reducing friction, will keep me from having to carry trash back into the house. Here's a quick tip. Don't ever assume the structure or foundation you're building on is flat, square, or straight either. As you can see, in order to frame up this outdoor kitchen square and plumb, I'm having to take some time to add some shims and spacers to the existing column of my shop. This definitely adds some time, but your end result will be much better. It would of course been much easier if I started with good foundational principles, because whether it's a building or your body, getting that right is crucial. And this is actually why I start every day by drinking AG1. It's basically the easy button for your health and helps fill in the nutritional gaps you probably have in your diet, keeping you feeling great throughout the day so that you can go conquer some projects. Unless you're a health freak, you probably have no earthly idea what your body actually needs, and you don't have the time to figure it out. This is why AG1 is awesome. It's basically a daily health hack that delivers multivitamins, pre- and probiotics, superfoods, and antioxidants into one simple scoop of powder you mix in with some water. It's legitimately the easiest thing you can do for your health. Plus, they just came out with some new flavors, including this berry one, which might just be my new favorite. I've just made it part of my morning routine here at work, and I can honestly say that I feel all around better since I've been taking it. It helps improve digestion, it supports your microbiome, and even helps your metabolism. So if you want to shore up your nutritional foundation this holiday season, head to drinkag1.com/shopnation or scan the QR code to claim your free welcome kit. You get a bottle of vitamin D3/K2, a shaker bottle, and a sample pack of all 3 new AG1 flavors. So don't wait until New Year's to make a resolution, just start now. The last little framing details are done, including these rear supports for some of the larger inserts that will go here eventually. Circling back to building materials, at some point you've got to make this thing waterproof, and there are many different ways to do that. I'm going with zip since that's what we used when we built my shop, but you can use concrete board or even just OSB with a wrap. I'd pick something that works well with your exterior finish though, and since I'm going to be adding stone veneer, I would probably want to avoid dealing with a wrap. And yes, the keen eye will spot that my zip panels overlap on one post but not the other. That's actually to give me a square and parallel face to the existing shop, since the posts were a little off. As a DIYer, you should always have a healthy dose of trust issues of your existing structure. Now this bar top will overhang from the front, and I decided that adding some support brackets couldn't hurt. So I found some stainless ones rated for a couple £100 each that I'll bury under the stone for a cleaner look. Now, mistake number 5 is forgetting about ventilation. Specifically, if you're using gas cooking appliances, you'll need at least 2 vents in your outdoor kitchen to promote cross ventilation. So I have one on the end here, and I'll have another on the inside face farther down the island so that air and potentially leaking gas can easily flow through and exit safely. And remember that if you're using natural gas, the vent should be up higher since it's lighter than air, but down low if you're using propane. Now with the exterior water resistant, I can move on to the electrical work inside the island. And this is mistake number 6 I see all the time. Make sure you're using the proper wiring and outlet boxes for your application. Since all of this is going to be technically exposed, I'm using a combination of MC or metal clad cable and seal tight throughout. Please don't use those blue interior boxes and just plain Romex. If you're going to do it, you might as well do it right. But I'm also not an electrician either, so who knows. But one thing for sure that I'm not is a stonemason. So I reached out to Justin, who originally did the stonework on the shop, to finish what he started and wrap this outdoor kitchen. I thought about trying this myself, and I could have probably fumbled my way through it, but considering this is going to be what you're going to see from the pool, I wanted to make sure it was done by a pro. And there are just times when it's worth setting your ego aside and getting help. While Justin did his thing, I jumped on finishing the inside face of the outdoor kitchen, which, you guessed it, is the same thermally modified ash I used for the ceiling earlier. Besides having some left over and sharing a similar disdain for, well, stain, I thought it'd be cool to tie in with the rest of the space. So I made my way around the inside using it in the vertical orientation, making sure to cut out for all of the important stuff. And this kind of leads into tip number 7. When you're framing out all of your various inserts, try to make at least the bottom edge a consistent height from the floor. So as you can see, the bottom edge of everything from this end to this end is the same 5.5 inches up from the bottom. This is going to give the outdoor kitchen a more professional, clean look, even though, you know, an idiot did it. I went ahead and taped off the edges here so that Justin could add the stone and the mortar right up to it without, messing it up. And with that, we are in the home stretch. It's time for granite. A couple weeks back, the granite guys came out and templated out the outdoor kitchen using this awesome laser for insane precision. Once we picked out our granite slab, they threw it onto the water jet and using their measurements earlier, cut out the exact shapes we needed. So, fingers crossed, it all fits. And here you can see the metal jackets I was alluding to earlier that allow me to use a combustible material like wood in my outdoor kitchen. This jacket actually hangs directly from the countertop and doesn't touch anything flammable. Then the grill fits neatly inside of them, creating a safe buffer between the heat and, like the firewood below. Of course, you don't need this additional safety layer if you're using non-combustible materials. Okay, we've got the granite in, we've got the two grills in place, and now I want to show you probably the biggest mistake I see people making on their outdoor kitchens. And that is actually to forget about leaving enough counter space next to your grilling appliances. So think about it. You walk out here typically with a plate of meat, maybe a cold beverage. You need a place to put it before you grill. And this is where that first mistake at the beginning of the video really starts to rear its ugly head. If you try to jam too much into an outdoor kitchen, you won't end up with any counter space to make your stuff actually usable. So what I tried to do, and what I would recommend you do, is to leave at least 2 feet or 24 inches on one side of your grilling appliance. This is gonna give you plenty of room to put a big tray of meat, maybe a couple of plates, anything else you need during the grilling process. And this is exactly why this pellet smoker is off center slightly. If I were to center it right on this section, I would end up with 2 not as usable sections of countertop on either side. By shoving this smoker over this way, I open up this side as well as leave this side open that I can use. All right, so let's get the rest of the inserts in place and get this thing wrapped up. Quite satisfying indeed. But with any big project like this, the devil is in the details, which starts with trimming out these posts. I'm wrapping them in cedar that I'll eventually paint to match the rest of the shop, and again, I'm having to take my time to get everything shimmed out and lined up with the existing structure, including hogging out areas like this to make room for the post brackets. Then of course, to hide all of my shoddy trim carpentry, some good old-fashioned caulk. And I can't help but feel like a toddler finger painting every time I do this. I really have no idea what I'm doing. So, to take my mind off of things, I decided to give the new flat top grill a try. Some quick game day burgers that will hopefully be the first of many out here. Okay, back to reality. After a quick prime and painting of the columns, I decided some PVC trim around the bottom would really finish things off. Plus, since the PVC is completely weatherproof, it keeps water away from the wood too. With that, all that's left are the remaining little details to get this place ready for prime time. It's so easy to get consumed in a project and forget why you're doing it in the first place. I mean, the entire point of building this outdoor kitchen is to enjoy it with my family for years to come. For now, I have young kids, and creating a backyard paradise like this is really to capitalize on the time we have and to make memories. And you're probably like me, and you get consumed by projects and the details within them. As I was building this out, I sometimes had to remind myself, as my kids were running around outside while I worked, that in this case, the project isn't the thing. It's an opportunity to slow down and just enjoy life. So after chopping away at this thing for over 2 months, the outdoor kitchen is now done. But there is one last consideration that I guess we'll call number 9, and that is dealing with smoke. Grills and pellet smokers especially create a lot of, well, smoke. And smoke can ruin the nice coverings that you've probably worked really hard to install. So it's definitely something you should at least think about. So for my setup, the flat top grill did pretty well at dissipating the heat and smoke when I did my trial run of burgers. My pellet smoker, on the other hand, is what I'm actually worried about. Yes, the vents for that smoker are on the back here, which is gonna help the smoke sort of naturally get away from the structure. But what if there's like some wind pushing it the other way? Since the ceiling inside the porch here is vaulted, any smoke that gets caught in here is gonna work its way up towards the center and just kind of hang out up there. And that's not ideal. And that's actually one of the main reasons why I put a ceiling fan in this porch area. One, just to keep me cool in the summer, but two, is I can run it in reverse and kind of create a draft that works its way down, hopefully preventing that smoke from accumulating. At least in theory. Another option could be to mount a small wall-mounted fan here to sort of blow smoke out in this direction. And of course, the last resort would be to put a ventilation hood above this area. So the point is that I've got at least an initial plan, and I've got future plans if that one doesn't work out. So in your space, just be mindful of the smoke. Okay, now how about a quick tour of the space? All right, right when you walk in, we've got a little built-in mini fridge, which is great, obviously, for frosty beverages. And right off the bat, all of the appliances and doors and everything I bought were from a company called Coyote Outdoor. I'm not sponsored or affiliated with them at all. I just did some research, and this is what I decided on. You can see I added a nice little bezel around the fridge to kind of give it a nice finished look. Directly above that, this keypad is actually the control for our auto cover of our pool. And then this is actually an open duplex outlet for, my first thought was going to be remote switches for the fan and the lights in this area, but I could just turn it into another outlet. We'll see. And just past that, of course, we've got our sink with both hot and cold water. We've got one of the ever important ventilation ducts right here for our natural gas to get out of here. And then directly below that is a door for accessing underneath the sink. Right next to the sink, we've got our pull-out trash can, which is going to come in really handy anytime those kids are looking for where to throw things away. That's gonna be nice to have out here. Directly above that, of course, we just have a single outlet to run I don't know, margarita machine. And then we round the corner and of course hit the 30-inch flat top grill, which is gonna be great for quick and dirty stuff, veggies, burgers, chicken, that kind of thing. It's gonna be good here. Underneath that, we've got some storage, just a door and a couple drawers. It's gonna be good for keeping all the utensils that we use out here in the outdoor kitchen. And then of course here on the end, my crown jewel, the 36-inch pellet smoker. I love smoking stuff, and this thing is awesome because you can actually sear up to 700 degrees, which is not typical for a pellet smoker. I had a little portable Rectech pellet smoker that I absolutely loved, but it topped out at about 450, 500 degrees, which isn't quite hot enough to do things like searing steak, stuff like that. This can really do it all. So I can use it as a conventional pellet fired grill, or of course as a smoker. So I'm excited to put this thing to use. And then directly below that, we've got this big 36-inch wide pull-out storage drawer, which I'll probably keep pellets in to make it easy for smoking. And then on the other side is another access door. This is where all the utilities come into the outdoor kitchen and could just be some other general storage. And that's basically it. A well-equipped outdoor kitchen that I can now cook outside for my family. I hope there's at least something in this video that helps you build or plan maybe a project like this for your family. I do have a small series coming up documenting the backyard transformation of my entire backyard, so if you're interested in that, make sure you're subscribed. Thanks so much for watching and happy grilling out there.